Game development. For many of us who play video games, we often think about how we could change the game we are playing for the better, or what we would do if we developed our own game. But a lot of people don't consider what goes into a video game. Before we get into the reasons why you shouldn't get into game development, let me add a disclaimer here. If you are already in the game development industry and know you have a passion for gaming, then it is a great fit for you, although you may still consider some of these points. In addition, if you are looking into game development as a hobby or something you want to play around with, this video is not for you. So without further ado, let us get into some of the reasons why you should not get into game development. First off, if you are anything like me, you have thought about developing your own video game and have considered getting into software development. This was my initial thought process as well, and I started learning some programming languages to eventually find a job in the gaming industry where I could give back to some of the games that I held dear. But the reality of being a game developer was enough to persuade me to look elsewhere within the software development industry. Now, the first reason being is the long hours. Now, game developers are often on a very strict release schedule and are often overworked in order to meet the demands of the company. Now, this is great if you are very passionate about your craft or don't have a lot of things to do outside of work. But for many of us, the work-life balance is just not there for game development. On the high end of the scale, many of these game devs are working over 100 hours a week while also being salaried, meaning any additional hours they are not getting paid for. So the pay comparatively to other jobs in the software development industry are on the much lower end scale of pay once you factor in the large amount of hours that these developers are working. Now, obviously, 100 plus hours of work every week is not sustainable, and it's on the higher end of the scale of what you might expect from a software developer in the gaming field. But it's something to take note of if you are considering getting into the game development industry. Now, in addition to the long hours, is the lack of job security. Many big game companies today end up working their developers to death while approaching those deadlines, and upon release of the game, a lot of them are let go. This has become so common in the industry that there is a website devoted to reporting the latest massive layoffs of video game employees. The third reason why you shouldn't get into professional game development is the lack of job satisfaction that can come from working on a game. Most of us play video games and get to see the big picture of all these puzzle pieces coming together. What we don't see is the hours and days of work going into each small little piece of the puzzle that adds up to the bigger picture. And often what happens is the developer or another person on the team ends up working on some of the less desirable aspects of the game, like shrinking horse bows. Now, if you have been in the industry or have found a passion in game development on the side as a hobby, all the power to you. I personally got into programming originally to get into game development and decided after hearing about the horrors game developers go through to focus on fields outside of the gaming industry, and wanted to let other people who are in the same position know some of the realities of the gaming industry. If your dream is to be a game developer and you know it, and it is something that excites you, by all means get into game development. If you are looking to get in the software development industry, but aren't completely sold on if you want to develop video games or not, this video is for you. And like always, thank you for being here and watching my video. Catch you on the next one. Peace!